Yes. Well, double check. All right, smart form. Let's take a look.
Doing all the
Front page, back of the front. Third of the front, unit 3.
No one got that cell phone.
Are we unit 3 or unit 4? I think we did unit 3.
The one with the weird thingamajiggers in it?
I think we're in unit 4. But we can go back to unit 3 if you need to see anything there.
Can we do 11 in unit 4? What? It's like a big graph thing. Big graph.
Describe the transformations. That one?
No, in 5 maybe?
Dude, are you making stuff up? Where are you at?
Unit 3.
Unit 3. I thought I said unit 4. Unit 3, which one?
11 and 12.
Dude, you got those covered. Seriously. I wouldn't worry about spending time on it. Okay, if you have no idea how to graph, I can't teach you. If you know how to graph, you're going to nail it. I mean, seriously. That's all you're doing. And you have a graphing calculator. Okay. All right, what else?
17 on 4.
The absolute value one?
Yeah.
All right. All right, number 17 is off of unit, and this is in unit 4. So f of x is equal to 2x minus 4. Says graph each absolute value. Okay, this was an inequality. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just graph this. That's the parent function, right? So the parent function is going to look like this. Is that okay? And then I'll do this one. This one's going to grow twice as fast, and it shifts down 4. And then rather than going right one, up one, it's going to go up 2. So I have that coefficient of 2. So that's what that one looks like. The purple. So things to know about the final. It's all multiple choice. It's all done on Scantron. There'll be the majority of the first part is all done. You can use a calculator on it. The second part is identifying graphs. Now, I will tell you, and you can't use a calculator, but if I gave you a linear function, y'all better be able to figure out, it'll say like, y equals 2x plus 2, and you have to match up. There's like 19 of these on there. I'm serious. So like, you don't know how to do that, I go back to Algebra 1 and punch your Algebra 1 teacher in the face. Unless you had me, don't punch me in the face.
Can you go over how to find if it's
Odd or even?
Oh, yeah.
Where did you see that on here?
Like question 4.4.
Okay. All right, so number 4, you have this. Number 5, you have this. And number 6, you have this. Okay. So let's see. An odd function, even function. Okay. Where was it? The odd function was reflects over the y-axis. So does this reflect over the y-axis?
No.
So that's not odd. I'm just listing what we know. Does that? This one's odd because it flips over, and that's not odd. And then it's even if it flips over this, and then it flips over one more time. So if I were to take this and fold it over, it's right here, and then I were to break my hand. So this would be even because it flips over the x, or over the y, and then over the x. So this maps right back onto this. This one flips. Nope. So it's not even. And then that one, no, neither. So this one's a neither. So it's just basically, does it flip over the x-axis? If that's the case, or over the y-axis, if that's the case, it's odd. If it flips over the y-axis and then flip it over again and maps back onto it. So
And what's 1 to 1?
yeah, 1 to 1. So vertical line is if it passes to make a function. Horizontal line test is to see if it's 1 to 1.
Oh, okay.
So like this one would be 1 to 1 because if I drew that, it would only touch once on horizontal line. But this one's not, and this one's not because
Yeah, like one of those
touches it
circular
twice.
shapes wouldn't be.
right. What else from Unit 4?
Unit 4.
Yeah, thanks for being with us.
Is it a horizontal stretch if it's outside the parentheses or inside?
Outside.
Okay, and then vertical's inside.
No, vertical's outside. That's all I'd say. No, we're not going that deep. We won't look for a horizontal compression. We haven't done graphs enough to say that you could see it. We haven't dealt with those functions yet. So I would stress that.
Okay.
Plug 10 in for x. So you get 30 over 5, which is 6. 6 plus 9 is. And then determine if it's even, odd, or neither. Okay, so the best thing to do if it's even. Okay, so let's take graphically what it looks like. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Up 3, 4, 5. So it looks like that. So fold it over, nope. Fold it over, nope. Neither. I would just, honestly, because you're using a graphic calculator, graph it, look at it. And you should be able to see symmetries. Anything else off of Unit 4?
So there's gonna be no computer part on the final.
Nope. I know most of you are crying yourselves asleep over that.
That's just regardless of
Yeah. Alright, let's put this way a different day, please. And I'm looking at 7, is it C that we did? And we did evens again? Okay, and just for this week. So final review, finished up matrix. I'm going to tell you, trust me please, I'm going to give you a small quiz tomorrow. The other classes aren't given the same quiz because we did all ours on the calculator. Those poor guys had to do theirs by hand. But, you know, we're in the meeting, we're like, hey, we're going to do this all on the calculator, and then they go out to class, you know what, I'm going to do it by hand. That's their problem. So trust me, this quiz is not one you need to lose sleep over. And then we have some stats to do. I think you'll like the stats that we do. It's not horrible. Yes, it's one of those where it's like, it's an afterthought. Let's squeeze it in. And then we will finish our stats on Friday. So that's all we really have. So then final exam. Let's see.
That's gonna be on the final.
I'm going to teach it directly to what you will see.
Okay.
And I'm not going to teach more of it. I'm going to say.
How many questions?
More than 10. Less than 100.
So like
27.
Sounds good.
60,
Throw whatever value at, I don't remember.
50.
How much? What percent is the final one?
No, it's
20%.
Oh, yeah.
Because like
So it can influence your grade in a really bad way. If you give a 0 on it.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have that.
Okay, let's take a look at 7C. See where we're at?
We do 14, 15.
Yeah.
let me get my calculator.
14 and 15.
Is this C or B?
C. All right. You're planning a birthday party at the skating rink. Yay! The cost of admission is $3.50 per adult, $2.25 per child. The maximum party limit is 20 people, and your budget is $50. We're not going to use Kramer's rule. We're just going to solve it. Okay?
What even is Kramer's rule?
Don't worry about it, buddy. All right. So we have we have adults and kids, right? And so each adult is $350. I'm just putting my information down before I set it up. And you have $225 per kid. The maximum party is 20 people, so we can have 20 total. And we have a budget of $50. This is going to be a raging party at the skate rink, I'll tell you what. All right, so
Someone's going down to Mega Rail.
all right, so I know that 350 and 225 would go with the $50. Okay. Now I'm just going to erase the dollar sign. That's what that goes with. Is that okay so far?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to have 20 people total. So I have one adult, one child, 20 total. You know, before you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. So this came from 350A plus 225K equals 50. And the second one came from adults plus kids equals 20. So I just took the lead coefficient. So 350, 225, 50, done. There's a lead coefficient, and 20. Okay? Is that all right so far? So that's a 2x3 matrice, right? All right, so quit. Way too much information up there. Second matrix, edit. One, do the 2x3. And I forget what we had.
350.
Thank you. 350. What's kid? How much kids? 225. And we spent in 50 whole doll hairs. And then we have 1 and 1 and 20 whole people. Okay. So that's the matrix we have in. Okay, this is the 2x3 matrix. We can't find the inverse of it because it's not square. But what I can do is I can go second matrix, and I want to go find math. And we're going to go down to RREF, which is row reduced echelon form. Shoot.
What is that?
So second matrix, math. RREF stands for row reduced echelon form. It's a real simple way of saying solve the matrix. All right, and then I have this. Close the parentheses, hit enter. So, it looks like we will have 4 kids and 16 adults at this big fancy party.
It gave me an error.
That's it. Yeah.
Wait, so how do you get the A in the parentheses? Do you always need to do that?
Second matrix, go to math, find RREF. Once you have your 2x3 in there, hit enter. Go back to second matrix. It was matrix A. And I just closed the parentheses because we already had one
So
open.
we're just looking at the numbers on one side.
The far column. As long as I have a diagonal of 1s, yes. Which we should.
4 children and 16 adults.
Big party at the skate rink for 50 whole doll hairs.
Oh, for the, are we gonna have to do it these by hand? So it says to be done by hand, we just don't.
Now, wait, this is from Bell.
Yeah.
That's where I'm
And
making
I
up.
can't like clear this.
What do you want to clear?
Because it's like, there's a weird multiplication sign before my second. Yeah, I know, but it's still there.
I'm coming to you.
How do I just clear it?
Where'd your archive?
Final exam schedule.
Yeah, but it's weird because I get to leave early on Thursday. I get to leave on Thursday. Beginning of the second day, so I get to leave early on Thursday.
I have one final. I have one final one the 19th, and then I have 3 finals on the 20th and 18th. So it's gonna really suck.
Hey, let's flip.
I have one final one in the 19th. Honestly, Wednesday is gonna be the only day I'm actually prepared for it because, like, I'm legitimately good at history. It's like my favorite class. Like, in general.
Yeah, like
But, like,
oh, and the fries?
So I'm just not. So I'm just A is gonna be. I have 2 tests.
All right. Anything else off of this? So just to reassure you, nothing will have to be done by hand. Okay, so it's going to be a quiz tomorrow. It's quick. It's easy. No yelling at me when you come in. Yeah.
So instead of Kramer,
No Kramer. I didn't teach Kramer's, therefore I'm not expecting you to know it. RREF.
Wait, so how do you find the inverse again?
X to the minus 1. Put the matrix C in, and then X minus 1. Make sure it's a square matrix C. Yeah? 15. 15. If the determinant of that is 0, find the value of K. Okay. All right, so they have 3, -1, K, and 2. And they said the determinant is equal to 0. So if the determinant is equal to 0, that means it does not have an inverse, which is great. In order to find the determinant of this by hand, you go plus minus. Still with me? 3 times 2 is 6, minus K times -1, so that's plus K equals 0. So K is equal to -6. If K is equal to -6, you would have a determinant of 0. And that wouldn't have an inverse matrice. I won't give you that one like that on the quiz.
Would it be 3 times -2?
No, it's just the top that these go with.
Okay.
We do
18.
18.
Find the inverse. Okay. So if I were to find the inverse, I'm just going to plug this into the calculator. So second matrix, I don't know, under 1, I'll do a 2 by 2. Oh, clear. Second matrix, edit, 1, it's a 2 by 2. And then 9, 2, 5, 1, second quit.
So the ones that say to use Kramer's rule.
Don't use Kramer. I didn't teach Kramer's rule.
No, I know, but I'm just saying. I know that you didn't teach it.
this.
I know that, but what?
just don't use Kramer.
RREF.
So we just. I know, but the ones that it's just a system of equations. We just do it by
RREF.
hand. That's all I needed.
No, you don't need to do anything by hand. I mean, honestly, tomorrow, don't worry about the instructions. Do everything on the calculator. I promise you, it'll work. Okay? All right. So second matrix A. So I have that matrix C, right? 9251. If I hit the X to the -1, hit enter. That's my inverse.
Wait, where is
Did we turn in B?
It's the same thing as the matrix key. What?
Turn in 7B?
I gave you points for it because you were here.
Oh, wicked. That's all we have to do.
Inverse? It's just the X to the -1 key. It's the same button as matrix. So it's that one. Oh, wow. Yeah. We have an inverse of an inverse of it. Yeah. So it's whatever the matrix C is, and then hit the inverse. You don't have to make it look fancy. That's fine. So you find your matrix C, which is this one. So you can either hit enter, Riley, or you can just hit X to the -1 just like that. Hit enter, and it comes up. Yeah.
So what's the stuff that's gonna be on tomorrow's quiz then?
Let's make it up. Let's figure it out. Let's do. I would say
Wait, what's it?
one more person asked me about Kramer's.
No.
I'm just gonna fail you for the
What's
year.
the determinant?
Okay, we're going.
If there's like Kramer's rule, like what do we do?
All right. Does everyone feel comfortable finding the inverse of a 2 by 2 and a 3 by 3 matrix?
Yeah, it's the same.
Is anybody stuck on that?
No.
Does anyone need to see me go over an inverse one?
No.
Question number 1 will be an inverse. Yes.
I just don't.
Yeah, just do one.
Does anyone need it done or no?
Just do
Yes.
one. Yeah, do one.
All right.
It's just -1.
What?
No, it's I'm just it's just x to the
All right.
negative
3, 2, 1, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10.
11, 12.
Sound good?
You almost
So all I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this into the calculator and put it to the -1 button. Okay? So now I'm going to forget that how I did it. 3, 2, 1, 4, 5, 6. All right, so second, matrix, edit, enter. I'm going to do a 3 by 3. And what did I do?
1, 2, 3, 4,
3, 2, 1, 3, enter 2, enter 1,
4,
4, 5, 6,
7,
7, 8, 9. Is that it?
8, 9. Yeah.
Okay. Once it's in there, what do we do? Second mode, or second quick, get it out. So second matrix, enter. To x to the -1, hit enter. Ooh, you want? No, we didn't mess up. What does this mean?
It doesn't exist.
Why doesn't it exist? What has to be 0 for this to happen? All right, so let's quit out of this. So let's do this. Second matrix. If I find the determinant,
Oh, that's how you do it. Okay.
if I find the determinant of this one, the determinant of this one has got to be 0. Oh, look, the determinant of 0. If you have a determinant of 0 of your matrix, if your matrix C has the determinant of 0, that matrix C does not have an inverse. So that's a good question.
So what do you like put, like 0 or no?
Inverse does not exist. Or you could say determinant would be equal to 0, therefore no inverse.
What is a determinant?
It's like the value. It's like the numerical value of the matrix C.
Okay.
The number value.
So if you get a 0 on any of the stuff tomorrow, you just got.
If you get a 0 for the determinant, you know that there's no inverse.
Cool.
If the determinant's any other number other than 0, there is an inverse. All right. So, and I just picked one. All right. So, is everyone okay on the inverse? Is everyone okay on the determinant?
Yes.
What's the main thing that has to happen with determinants and inverses? What does a matrix C have to be? No.
A cube.
Has to be square. It has to be a 2 by 2, a 3 by 3, a 4 by 4, a 5 by 5. Nothing else works.
Oh.
Okay? All right.
Can't be a 1 by 9.
So if I go and I plug into my matrix C, this is a what by what matrix C? It is a 3 by 4. If I wanted you to solve a 3 by 4, you have to plug this in. And what's the fancy dancy key we have to hit in order to solve it? Yeah, so it's the second, and then find matrix, and then math, and then scroll down to RREF. Hit that button, go back to matrix, and plug in. Okay? So if it says RREF, this column over here are your answers. That's it. Okay? So if this solves down, this would come out to something like this on your calculator. And then I'd have some numbers. These aren't hashtags, not this week. So those would be your answers as long as you have a diagonal. So your x value is that, your y value is this, your z value is that. That's all we got there. Is that okay? Now let's use a little logic. Let's say I did that problem and my answer comes out to this.
So if you get like funky negatives, that's all good too.
In this column, yeah. Let's say I plug my matrix C in, I hit RREF, and I get this. Does anyone notice anything in the third row? I see zeros all the way across, correct? This means 0 equals 0. What can you tell me about 0 equals 0?
No determinant.
What is 0 equals 0? Is it true or false? It's true. This would be one that would say we have infinite solutions. Okay, let's say we had another matrix C. It looks the same way. Okay, this means I have 0 equals 3. Is that true or false? It's false. So what do you tell me about the solution? No solution. So this one would mean if we were to graph these in three-dimensional space, you have at least 2 of the lines lying on top of each other for infinite solutions. This one means you have 3 lines that all happen to not intersect in three-dimensional space. It doesn't mean they're parallel to each other. It just means lines in 3 space that don't intersect. So draw a straight line on the floor. You still with me? So let's go from that corner to that corner, straight line. Still with me? And then go a straight line this way. They're in 2 different planes. They're not parallel to each other, and they sure won't intersect. So it doesn't mean you have parallel lines. It just means that the lines will not intersect. Okay? Just in case you see that. Yeah?
Wait, so when deciding true or false, you only care about the bottom right-hand
Bottom. That's it.
Sounds good.
So if it does show up here, if that was zeros across, you can always move. You can remember what I said, how you can move an entire row. You can't move an entire column. You have to move the row. So that's why. Cool? Everybody happy?
Wait, will you leave that up there?
Leaving it there.
Leaving it there.
All of them.
One and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Counted 6. Guarantee someone's going to say I gave too many or didn't give enough. Yes, sir.
Wait, can you do 10 really quick? Or just explain it?
Yeah.
It's RREF.
Okay, so that's
Just like plug it into the RREF thingamajig.
Smiley,
Then you're trash, bro. Like that is pure
Yeah, I know.
trash.
Can you do 10?
Hurt me, bro. How what?
You're telling her how to do it, then you asked me to do it.
The problem is I may have possibly not done.
Bro, you better-
All right, number 10. Did I give enough worksheets out there? Number 10. Number 10, just do it this way.
Oh.
That's
Okay,
it.
thank you.
Lieb, did I get you one? You get one? Angela, get one?
So what is like the just REF?
Okay. So REF is this. If you were to hit REF, that would solve this. And then you'd have 2. Something like that. REF gives you the bottom diagonal, which would mean, hey, I have Z is equal to 2. And then I know that 1y plus 6z equals 1. Then you can take this 2, plug it in here, and solve it. And then this top one would mean that I'd have 1x plus 3y plus 2z equals 4. Well, you know your z values here. Plug your z value in here to get your y value, so you plug it in there. So it just means you're doing extra work. So if you make the mistake, hit REF, redo it, and hit RREF, because that'll give you your zeros here and here and here and solve the whole problem. I never understood why we worried about REF. Like, what? Why did we? I didn't get it. It just meant do more work. Okay, we good? If you're here, I'm giving you points for the evens on that. I'll put it in the grade book like sometime. All right. These are the last notes for this. All right, solving matrix equations, applications of matrices. Yay! Okay. Ooh, real life problems is going to mean something to us. All right, let's see. Is there something to move there? Can I move that? Okay, remember that the blank matrix can be multiplied on either side. Oh, that's the inverse matrix. Okay? So, if I were to multiply a matrix C together, and I were to multiply a matrix C and its inverse matrix C together, you would develop something called the identity matrix. Okay? So you might come across a question on the quiz tomorrow saying, hey, are these inverses of each other? So some of you in class, you'll sit there and say, oh, you know what? I'm going to find the inverse of one of them and see if that's the other. Or you could take the two matrices, multiply them together, and if you get the diagonal of ones from upper left to lower right of ones, everything else is 0, that means they are inverse matrices of each other. So that's the key to unlock the door. Is that okay so far? All right, you can do the same thing with this. I would not necessarily worry about doing this. I would do this, and I would hit RREF and solve it. That's all I would do.
And then your answer is
And my answer would be whatever the answer in the column is, because this would come out to 1001, and then some number. Those are your answer. Okay? I'll just have you write the whole matrix out. Just 1 0 number, 0 1 number, done.
Okay, so if you just write the whole matrix,
You nailed it. You nailed it. Can I move on? All right. So I'm going to do this as this. Agree? And what am I going to do once I get there? RREF. And so hopefully your answer looks like this. And you have some number and some number. I would just write that for your answer. Obviously, give me the numbers that come out on the calculator and say, oh, Sturps, I put 1 0 question mark and 0 1 question mark. Drew. You know it's coming. You know it's coming.
I'm just going to put a giant question mark in my paper.
Okay? Same way? Yes? All right. So I'm going to put this on the calculator. See if you can't put this in your calculator and solve it. First off, what's the dimensions of that matrix? 3 by 4? It is a 3 by 4. I love it. If it's a 3 by 4, then I'm going to hit RREF, and your answer should come out to this. And then you have some number, some number, some number. I would just write that whole thing as your answer. Call it good. Yeah.
So for RREF, you go to your calculator and hit math, scroll down to that first.
Yeah, so plug the matrix C in first. Quit out of the matrix mode.
Okay.
Go back into matrix to the math. Go down to RREF. And then once you have that on your screen, RREF, go back into matrix C, and then whatever matrix C. And hit enter, and there it goes.
You have to finish off the parentheses.
I do just because I have an open parenthesis, and that's kind of my OCD. I don't know if it's OCD or... Cool? Everyone feel good? All right. So then it says, 4 groups of friends go to the same theater on the same night. Yay. One group buys 4 tickets, 3 large popcorns, 4 drinks, 1 box of candy, and they drop $64.50. Still with me? Yeah, they're big rock stars. All right. The next group, they buy 3 tickets, 1 large popcorn, 3 drinks, 2 boxes of candy, and they drop $44. Third group buys 5 tickets, 4 large popcorns, 3 drinks, and they didn't buy any candy, right? And they spent 74 doll hairs. And then the final group, this is the party group, 6 tickets, 5 large popcorn, 6 drinks, 4 boxes of candy, and they spent $107.50.
Kind of a lot of movie.
I understand. Use a system. So that is a 4 by 5 matrix. Agree?
Yep.
Use the system. So how your answer will come out is the answer will be the ticket was first, and then the drinks, and then that was popcorn, then drinks and candy, And that's it. So if you do that, if you plug in 4341, 6450, 3132, 44, 5430, 74, 6564, 107.5 as a 4x5 matrix, second quit, then go back into matrix, go to math, go down to RREF, go back into matrix, tell them which 4x5 you want to plug in, hit enter. This last column here, this answer is going to look like this. And then you have this. Those aren't really question marks, those are numbers. So did anyone work it? Hey, is there anything controversial today in the journal?
Cheating.
Like last time.
The last
Wanna
page.
make a- they wanna
Last
make a
page.
teaching area.
Proud to be a conservative.
Aren't we all?
The one next to it is. Nah, the one about cheating.
What it means to be black at Creek.
It's right next to proud to be a conservative.
What does it say?
Make America great again.
What?
Really good.
Jacob,
What political ideology do you identify with?
Yeah.
So,
I hate that kid.
there's one where
I
he's
hate
like,
that
I feel
kid.
comfortable being a white man.
I'm proud to be a white man.
That's literally what, those are his exact words.
Oh, someone had a quote like that?
He wrote it. He said, I'm proud to be a white man.
Okay.
I mean, I'll let him do what he wants. Like, if you're proud.
Let's see.
If that's what you're proud of.
There are three of us in here that have been to the cadaver lab, and what we can tell you about the cadaver lab is we all look the exact same on the inside. You know, heart, two lungs, liver, spleen. I mean, you look, it's like, hey, blood is blood, guts are guts. Brains are brains. No, it's pretty cool. I love it.
so cool.
Wait,
It's how
do
early is
people
that?
excrete the body at like
7.
9?
7, 8, 10.
Right?
Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's pretty cool. In Shilling.
Wait, do you get to touch like human hearts and
This
stuff?
morning, this guy who came in, he showed some awesome.
He had some good pictures.
I took pictures of it.
I was shadowing my mom.
Alright.
She came in with a table saw and it was.
So, do we have to work this problem, or do you feel comfortable with it?
We feel good.
You feel good? Life is fun?
The last
We
column of
collectively
things.
feel amazing.
I don't know about that, but
All right. What do we say this? We'll have, I like ice cream. Just for fun, we will do worksheet 7D, and we will just do 11, 12, and 13.
Oh.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah, wait till you see him. Then you're like, dude, he gave us only the word problems. What a jerk.
Easy word problem.
Yeah, but like.
Everyone ready for the quiz for tomorrow?
Yes.
So things on the quiz: determinants, inverses. Hey, if the determinant's 0, what can you tell me about the inverse? No inverse. We will have RREF. That's about it.
But I actually understand.
what is wrong?
This is gonna be
So,
That is so funny.
2 by 2, 3 by 3.
I hate you. That was disgusting.
Wait, what?
Why would you do that?
Wait, what?
You know how I feel about that.
I'd say that'll be about what your quiz will be. You'll have the determinant of 2 by 2 and 3 by 3s, inverses of them as well. And then I'll give you RREF of a 2 by 3, a 3 by 4, and a 4 by 5. I can squeeze it all on one page. Cool?
Yeah, and then just because you should give us like 50 points extra credit.
50 points extra credit. I'm in.
Where's the joke?
Everyone good? Yeah. Everyone happy? Just don't line up by the door. Hey, should we do a round the picture? Woo! Wave to the camera.
Yo.
Wave back to the camera.
Yo.
Yay, we're